Next on Northwest Outdoors, travel down the Oregon coast on Highway 101 and visit the popular Sea Lion Caves. Then head further south to fish and ride the waters of the Rogue River. Your Northwest Outdoors is next. Broadcast of Northwest Outdoors is made possible in part by O'Loughlin Trade Shows. Puyallup, Portland, and the Denver Trade Shows are proud supporters of public television throughout Washington State, placing an emphasis on education for the great outdoors. By New Holland Tractors of Yakima. With a full line of tractors to fill every need, New Holland Tractors have been supporting Central Washington farmers for over 55 years. And by Kershaw Knives of Portland, Oregon. Makers of precision tools and cutlery, Kershaw Knives continues to support outdoor programming and outdoor activities throughout the Pacific Northwest. The Oregon coast is rich in vibrant colors. With its picture postcard shoreline and ever-changing scenery, traveling Highway 101 can be quite breathtaking. On this show, Northwest Outdoors heads south on Highway 101 to explore some of the opportunities offered by this favorite Northwest area. One of the first must-see stops is to visit the Sea Lion Caves near the town of Florence, Oregon. When arriving at this unassuming roadside attraction, the surrounding scenery seems poised to have its picture taken. During the summer months, one of the first things a visitor might notice is the large population of nesting cormorants. They work together before curious eyes for a similar goal: just gather enough grass for a hillside nest. As you make your way to the viewing platform, you begin to hear and maybe smell the main reason for stopping. Hundreds of stellar sea lions lounge on the rocks below, making this their year-round home. Some of these bulls can reach up to 1,500 pounds, with the cows only reaching the 600-pound mark. When these animals get together, they can actually make for some fun entertainment. This particular sea lion seems determined to wake up his napping neighbors. About 250,000 visitors stop by here each year, making it one of Oregon's most popular attractions, which was one of the reasons an elevator was installed to reach 208 feet down to the sea cave below.
This past year, we discovered that this was actually the world's largest sea cave, as recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records. They tell us that the unique thing about the sea cave is most sea caves of that size collapse because there's not enough roof to actually keep everything intact. And what you do is you get a chasm of some kind, and these are found all up and down the Oregon coast, for example, where they were once sea caves, but but the top fell in, and they become chasms where water rushes in them.
How many sea lions would you say your maximum population would be at a given time?
We've had probably 700-800 sea lions. In fact, just about a week ago, we had that number here, both on the rocks outside and in the cave and also in the water. There were sea lions everywhere. And it changes. Where did those critters come from? Well, what happens is during a daily count, we count the number of animals actually on the rocks. So today, for example, we have about 225, 250 animals here at Sea Lion Caves. That's a pretty common number, whether in the cave or on the rocks outside or both, depending where they want to be.
Are these migratory, the ones that come through here?
What happens? No, this is actually a year-round home here for sea lions, but the large breeding bulls, you find what happens is all of a sudden they're here, all of a sudden they're gone. They arrive just about right now. Here we are talking the first part of May. We start to see the bulls, and then they leave this area about the middle part of November and move north. They're the only ones that do that. The rest of the sea lions stay here year-round. But the large breeding bulls, evidently, they've had their fill of the family life and move north.
And it is designed to be all weather year-round. You can get in here no matter what time of the year.
We're here year-round, just as the animals are. It's a unique structure to see and a unique place for the animals to be.
Travel further south to Gold Beach, and you will run right into some of the best fishing grounds in Oregon. The Rogue River offers fishing opportunities not found in many places around the Pacific Northwest. Steve Byerlin of Southern Oregon River Tours takes out Northwest Outdoors guest host Hobart Manns for a little spring Chinook salmon fishing.
Little head shaking out there, little head shaking. He hasn't decided to go ocean bound yet. That's nice. Well, Steve, you said it right. You said if we stayed here till the tide changed, that the fish would come to us, we wouldn't have to go to them. And you're right on. But that's a wonderful run. Look at him zip right along. Some muscle.
Oh, he's way over there.
Yeah, he is.
I think I'm gonna go get a little closer to him. Don't want to let these things get too far away from you.
No, we've seen those. There's another critter in here that's feeding on salmon besides us.
That's right.
We were sitting here waiting for that tide to change, and you said it would turn, and probably a half an hour ago, it's probably turned, started to go out, and as soon as that transpired, here come the fish. And this one is now right beside the boat here, more or less.
Yeah, but I don't think he's worried.
No, he's not worried. I'll tell you what, the line isn't the only thing that's green out there. that fish is green too.
I'm gonna circle around him here, Hobart.
Okay, which side of the boat you want
I'm
me
gonna
on?
go this way.
There he goes. He just made a run towards that guy's boat.
He's got a mind of his own still.
Yeah. Get him sideways this current, maybe we can slide him out of here a little bit. He made a pretty good surge on that last run. Yeah. Ooh, yes. Get that big fin up there. No more of that running business. Come on.
They're a lot stronger than they look,
Come
aren't
on.
they?
Oh, the salmon are always stronger than they look.
Well, our best laid plans didn't work there. So.
Now you're going to have to go to work here in a minute.
That's a nice fish.
Yeah, it is.
Look at that fish.
He is right
That's
there.
a beauty.
It is.
That's the one you were looking for.
It is. Have no idea how much we were looking
an
for
eye
that
out over
puppy. Enough of that head shaking.
See if I can net the weight.
Okay. When
You
he
always
makes
gotta-
his next turn, I'll bring him
You always got to be careful of that weight. There we go.
Done deal.
Give us there we go.
Would appear to be in the mid-20s, high low 30s.
No, it's just in the 20s. If you notice that silver blade
Yes.
that I was talking about earlier, that's a little bit cloudy weather,
Yep.
a little bit color in the water.
Did the trick.
There you go.
And those small hooks held wonderful.
Yep, and they're
Just-
buried in there. Let's get
Yep.
that up and take a look at it.
Yeah, it is.
There's that little number 4 treble was here and here, and that's right in the hard part of the mouth.
He isn't going to pull out of there at all.
That was going to have to break off to come out.
A little couple of sea lice on him.
Yeah, but the other side's got a whole bunch of them on it, you know.
It's about as
These are-
nice as you could expect. And this is what your average rogue springer looks like?
This might be just a touch over average, but it's a nice fish, you know. It's in the low 20s, I'd say about 23. You know?
23?
And
Feels like 40.
now this fish, this is, what is it, May 5th, May 6th, and this fish won't spawn until October on the upper road.
Yeah.
They come in here clear full of fats and oils. They don't feed until the time that they spawn. And so they've got to be super healthy when they come through here to lay in the river till October to spawn.
How deep is the water that you've got us anchored in?
We're in about 6.5, 7 foot of water. Close to the bank, there's a pretty good drop off here. And these fish will move in anywhere from 3 to 8 foot of water pretty freely.
Okay. Is there any difference in the water temperature, or has it gotten warmer, colder, snow runoff?
Snow runoff is starting to subside. We're in the mid-50s on our water temperature. The ocean temperature is 53 degrees. We're in tide water, and these fish are real close to the ocean. They come out at 53-degree water, hit water that's similar in the river, and they're on the move. They're moving at a pace of a fast walk.
Below us here, there's at least 1 or 2 small hog lines, and we've seen a lot of other boats on the river today. Is there any reason why they all just congregate in one place, or it's just we'll choose a spot and anchor up because we know the guy next to us?
Well, we have a great communication system here on the road, and everybody knows when there's fish being caught in any area of the road here on the lower end. And so the word gets up and down the river, either by radio or by word of mouth, and where the fish have been being caught is where the congregation is, you know. And as more fish get in the river, these boats will spread out, and there won't be as much concentration in one spot because there'll be more places to fish, you know.
But they're ideally setting up on spots on the stream where the fish are going to come by and they're going to have a shot at them.
The fish have no choice but to come by here. You know,
In the rogue system, you've got one of the better runs of spring Chinook up and down the Pacific coast, at least one of the consistently most healthy ones. What kind of numbers do you expect to return this year?
we are expecting near 50,000 fish this year, which is above our historic average. But we started taking numbers on Chinook here that were counted at a counting station upriver at Gold Ray Dam in 1942. And every 10-year block since 1942, the average for the 10 years has increased. We're at all-time high numbers.
So instead of declining, as most areas are, you've got a healthier run that is building consistently.
That's right.
Do you have a spring run and a fall run, or just a spring run that lasts for a long time?
We have a spring run and a fall run here. The fish come in starting in usually about the 1st of April until the end of October consistently. What causes the break in the fish runs fall to spring is air temperature and water temperature. When that water temperature reaches 65, 70 degrees in the river, which it does, then the fall run stops, you know, or the spring run stops. There's a break there, and it'll last for 2 or 3 months in between the runs, you know, where they're reluctant to come in the river at that warm temperature till the air temperature and water temperature start to cool. But if the air temperatures were right, that run would continue all the way through.
In a little bit, something should come along and nail again one of these intriguing looking spinners. Now, you going to show me how you made these, or tell me what's going on with them?
I'll show you if you don't tell anybody.
I promise.
Okay.
Pay attention, everybody.
Well, we use about a 30-inch leader, and I'm using 25-pound Maxima. Use number 1 single hook. This is going to be a slider for a nose hook to hold the anchovy. These are 6mm beads. I think it's about the right size. You can try various sizes. And a clevis is what you hang the spinner on. Well, then we take a spinner blade, not too big a blade. These are number 4s. Use some good, tray bait, and keep it nice and cold, and it'll stay firm for you. This is a herring threader that's used for threading bait. And we go up the vent and out the mouth, and you kind of lay your bait like that. And take your time doing this. It's important to have a good bait out there. We like to have our anchovy bent here so it'll spin. And I've set this hook just below the center line of the anchovy near the tail. And you can try it in the water to see how it'll spin.
We'll rig one of these up and put it overboard, and we can check the spin on it?
Right.
Okay. Got a bite there, Steve.
Easy, easy. There he is.
There, now
there
we
he
got
is.
him up. Well, now we're in contact.
Just hang on to him. We'll get back out of here.
Okay. A little close to the beach, but we're all right.
Look at that sucker do that to us.
Yes, he
now
is.
He's going across the river.
Now he decided to get out there where he liked that current a little more. Come on, baby. Now we're out here beside him again. We're in a good control area there, Steve.
Hey, we're looking better. This is a little more average sized fish. Looks like he's about 15 pounds.
Yeah.
And but we get them all sizes. No two seem to be alike, and that's kind of fun.
Come on, work him up here. He's going to be coming right up there behind us. He's getting soft.
I think we want to float down to a little slower water, even if he is ready.
Yep. He may be a littler fish, but he's got a bigger mouth.
Nice fish. Go ahead and bring him up here.
We don't ever want to say nice fish. They're superior fish. They're magnificent. They're brilliant. They're bright. They're gorgeous.
One time I heard somebody say, "Isn't that special?"
But they're never nice. They're never nice. They're just, as you say, they're special. They're precious. They're gorgeous. It's time to do it. That hook is getting him where he hurts.
Oh, look at that. Right in the corner of the old kisser. Well, we got one on a spinner bait and one on a spinner. This is a copper spinner.
That's all the work we can do today.
Yeah, this is a copper spinner. And the copper spinner works best in overcast days.
Look at the color on that fish. That fish hasn't been out of the ocean 2 hours.
No. And when they take those spinners, they just inhale them.
Incredibly beautiful. How could it be any brighter than that?
Yeah, that spinner is definitely had an owie on it,
Well,
he munched it.
we ruined one spinner and we made one day for the two of us.
Something you notice about this fish?
He's chrome bright. They don't get any brighter than that. And he's a hatchery fish.
He's a hatchery fish, got a coated wire tag in his nose, And so we'll give that snout to Fish and Wildlife so they can get the information on that fish, how old it is, and what hatchery it came from. We're sure it came from the Rogue, but nevertheless they like to have that
I'd have
information.
noticed this pretty soon, but the coated wire tag, I'd still be looking for a long time. or they tagged all of them from the hatchery.
They tag a good percentage of them, and we'd like to see them tag all of them.
Yeah.
But there is an expense involved.
Well, it's wonderful to know that some of the hatchery programs work, and that is just beautiful.
After a full day on the river, let's see what Steve likes to do to prepare these fishing prizes. Of course, waiting back at the dock are a number of onlookers eager for leftovers.
These fish, when they're fresh out of the ocean, you can take the scales and the slime off before you clean them. by laying them backwards and blowing the scales off with a hose. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut in under the collar here after taking the guts out, and right around the corner of the head, like that. We're going to go right down the backbone. A little hard to get started sometimes. You just saw back and forth as you go. Cut away from you.
Do you have any tips?
Just keep us on, nice and easy. Keep a steady pressure, and don't try and be in a hurry. And we got a couple ribs here that are stuck down here by the. There we go.
Beautiful fillet.
Oop. I'm going to come in here and come right into these ribs with the knife, and just kind of gentle strokes.
Gonna lift those ribs
Gonna
right
lift those
away
ribs
from
right
that
out
belly
there.
meat.
Little stubborn spot here. Walk those ribs right out of there, nice and easy. Don't get deep, and just kind of lay the knife up against the ribs. Trim them out. Take that fin off. Okay. What I like to do is I like to cook these on the barbecue. You can do it in your oven, however. And what I'll do is I'll show you here. I'll cut. Got a trim here. I'll cut this across here in a serving portion, all the way through. Okay. Now I'll cook this piece with some butter, lemon pepper, roll it in foil, and I'll put it on a barbecue, and I'll have the foil folded on this top side. I'll put it on a barbecue and cook it skin side down first. And I'm going to cook it in that foil until I start to smell it burn. But it's not burning. It's just getting a little crunchy. Then I'm going to turn it over and cook it until it does the same thing. Turn it back over, open this up, the foil up, shut the lid of the barbecue and let it smoke for a minute, take it off, and it's ready to go. And it'll have just a fine crunch around it, you know, and it'll be the best tasting salmon you ever had.
Sounds quick
And
and easy.
This is, you can butterfly these, just go down to the skin, lay them open, and you have your steak.
Butterfly
And all the,
steaks.
and all the seasoning goes in this way. The skin is a barrier, it doesn't let the flavors in, but this will go in.
We're recycling everything, right?
That's right.
Don't we have somebody at the bottom of the tank
We have a friend
waiting
down
for
there.
these? We'll just send this downstream and see what happens here.
Traveling by jet boat up the Rogue River can be very exhilarating. The combination of scenery and wildlife can make any visitor appreciate the grandeur of this rugged area. Boat manufacturer, lodge owner, and adventurer Bruce Wassum shows his passengers that it just takes a little experience and knowledge of the rapids to make this run. The destination upriver is to take a peek at Wassom's pet project, the Half Moon Bar Lodge. Homesteaded in 1918, the lodge sits on 83 acres in the middle of the Wild Rogue Wilderness area. Some 52 miles from Gold Beach, the local inhabitants seem to have no problem meandering around sniffing up a snack. Half Moon Bar Lodge can accommodate up to 30 guests at one time. With rustic surroundings and modern facilities, this lodge can take a guest away from it all with comfort. As their powerful jetcraft sled makes its way back down the river through the maze of deep canyons, Bruce and his companion wear yet another hat, that of historical river guide. This part of Oregon has seen its share of notable figures from history vacationing on the banks of Oregon's Rogue River.
You can see the chimney up at the Eagle's Nest and the steps going up. They have a beautiful little creek there, and that's where the generals in the 1950s walked up. It was basically an isolated fishing lodge belonging to the World War II general Isaac Eaker, Carl Toohey Spatz, and Fred Anderson. And other famous generals were frequent guests: Hap Arnold, Curtis LeMay, and Nathan Twining. Ike Eisenhower was planning a visit up here before he got his presidential nomination, was unable to make it because of the nomination. It's quite a famous spot right here. It's be wonderful if that chimney could talk. Rock right there is Solitude Rock. Zane Grey camped here one summer and fished and wrote the book Rogue River Feud. He'd wade out to that rock and sit on it every day and write his book. That's the dinosaur tree. Many famous people at different times have had their pictures taken on there. Clark Gable, Ginger Rogers, a couple of our astronauts. Beautiful. Everything's green. I'm getting down. There's stuff in this shallow water. There we go. I brought 3 drift boats out last year. John brought one. I brought the one out about 4 months ago that the guy drowned in. Had a light.
Broadcast of Northwest Outdoors is made possible in part by O'Loughlin Trade Shows. Puyallup, Portland, and the Denver Trade Shows are proud supporters of public television.